I'm Nintendo.
And I'm Sega. This is Console Wars! Man, there's so many video game movies coming out. I mean, Streets of Rage?
And don't forget the Mario movie. And apparently they're doing a Kirby movie.
Which one's Kirby? Does he have that beard, wears red, and has a big old belly?
Pretty sure you're thinking of Santa Claus. Kirby's the big pink puffball.
Oh, sorry. He clearly never had a Sega game. So he's got like a movie coming out?
Yeah, apparently there's a trailer too. Let's check it out.
This summer, prepare to be amazed by seeing Kirby come to life on the big screen. Explore Planet Popstar for barely 5 minutes before you get sucked to Earth for some reason. Starring Ray Romano as the human friend.
Yeah, Ma, I told you I can't visit you today. I gotta help a pink little creature go back to Planet Popstar. Hello?
Kevin Conroy as Kirby.
I'm here to do two things. Suck up objects and people and spit them out in weaponized form and chew bubblegum. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
And Bobcat Goldthwait as Meta Knight.
Yeah, I'm gonna kill that little pink snake.
At first, Kirby and the human won't like each other.
Hey, who ate all my cereal?
I've gotta go.
Kirby! Ow! I bit my tongue.
Then, they'll be friends.
Man, this is so much fun. You want me to get you another beer?
No thanks. I've got it.
Oh, you ate the glass too.
Then, they won't like each other again.
Oh, I trusted you, and now everything's ruined. I'm just going home. Ow, my foot.
Then, they'll be friends again.
I believe in you, Kirby. Go get him. Ow, my neck.
It all culminates with a climactic CG fight.
Hey, how do you eat so fast?
Just suck as hard as possible.
Well, let me try. Well, that didn't go as expected. I guess I need to suck harder.
I don't think it's possible for you to suck any harder.
Oh, I get it. Ow, my sciatica.
That looked awesome! And totally not formulaic!
I'm buying my tickets right now.
Man, I can't wait for them to make more video game movies.
Yeah, Mega Man, Boogerman, Bomberman, all the man.
Bomberman, yeah! I used to play Mega Bomberman all the time. For the Sega Genesis.
Right, but Super Bomberman for Super Nintendo was better.
What? That's it! Are we doing this?
We're the first animals sent to space fruit flies aboard a U.S. Launch V-2 rocket on February 20th, 1947 from White Sands Missile Range, New Mexico. Yes! Best Bomberman game!
Super Bomberman was developed by Produce. It was published in the US and Japan by Hudson Soft in 1993. This game would only have one sequel in America, but there were 4 sequels in Japan.
Mega Bomberman was a port of the PC game Bomberman 94. The original game was developed by Hudson Soft, and the port was developed by Weststone. The Genesis version was published by Sega in 1994. 2 games based on the Bomberman universe. Which one's better? Let's find out.
These games have a similar look.
They're fairly simple looking games.
Both games have that top-down view you'd expect from a Bomberman game. The levels also have that grid design which is integral to the gameplay.
The characters, levels, and animations all have simple designs. Only the bosses in each game have any real detail, probably because they're so big. Both games look simple and are unmistakably Bomberman.
Pretty bare bones.
Yeah, look, my game definitely looks better. I mean, just take a look at the levels.
Every single stage on Super Nintendo takes place on one screen. See that? That's the whole stage. Here's another one. And here's another one. Get it? They're not all like that on Sega. Some stages on Sega go well beyond one screen. You're not just contained to a square grid. There's a world out there to be explored on Sega. On Super Nintendo, not so much.
But that's what Bomberman is. Why overcomplicate it?
Overcomplicate? The Sega game's just trying to change things up a bit. Your game always has the same look.
Every level on Sega has a distinct look, whether it's the jungle, a fiery volcano, under the ocean, a castle, or an icy Arctic. All these levels have a unique and easy to identify look. Then there's the Super Nintendo game, all just grid. Here's a grid with a green floor. Here's a grid with another green floor. And here's a grid with another green floor. So boring on Super Nintendo. Much more interesting on Sega.
Okay, my levels aren't the most interesting, but I still think my game looks better.
Look at the games side by side. The Super Nintendo game has more detail and much better use of color. Just look at Bomberman. He has more colors on Super Nintendo, creating a shine effect on his outfit. Makes him look a bit 3D. And a lot of my destructible objects move. It's not much, but they're doing something. The destructible objects don't move on Sega, just static. Also, some objects on Sega have outlines. Looks like your designers got a bit lazy. Sorry Sega, but a few unique levels can't compete with the polish of the Super Nintendo game.
Somewhat similar looking, but Super Nintendo has the edge.
For having much better use of color, more details, and just looking more 16-bit, best graphics go to Super Nintendo!
These games don't have much when it comes to presentation.
Yeah, just like graphics, very simple. I mean, just check out the HUDs.
Very simple HUDs in both games. You have the time, number of lives, and the score. That's it.
Yeah, and in terms of cutscenes, both games don't have much.
After each level on Super Nintendo, you see Bomberman on an island going to the next location. On the Sega game, you see Bomberman putting his world back together. Pretty simple cutscenes. Both games also have short and simple endings, and both games have credits.
I don't know if my game's as simple looking as yours.
First off, for the ending, the Super Nintendo is pretty much using in-game graphics. The Sega game, however, has an actual cutscene. Then the credits. On Super Nintendo, you just have stills that aren't even in color. On Sega, you get this sweet flight in outer space. It looks awesome. I definitely think my game has the edge here.
Okay, so a couple things are more elaborate.
Not just a couple. Let's compare the intros.
On Sega, you have this cutscene showing Bomberman's planet under attack. Short but sweet. On Super Nintendo, there's no intro. Just a quick view of the city and then the title screen. And not for nothing, but I think the Sega title screen looks better too. Same with the box art. Sega game looks fine, but then the Super Nintendo, what happened to Bomberman?
Look how they massacred my boy.
And in general, my game just has more.
After you beat a stage in Sega, you get a cutscene. A piece of the spirit picture is restored, and then you see how many more stages are left. On Super Nintendo, when you beat a stage, you just go to the next stage. Other sections of my game have more as well. Check out the score for the battle mode. On Sega, very simple, but it's something. On Super Nintendo, just black background. Then there's the password. Already, the Sega game looks more interesting with Bomberman and Louie. Now, watch what happens when you enter a password. Nice! Go get him, Bomberman! And check out the game over screens. On Sega, you see Bomberman all bandaged up. On Super Nintendo, just the numbers.
They're both simple when it comes to presentation, but the Sega game definitely has more.
With a nice ending and credits, an actual intro, cutscenes in between stages, and more effort all around, best presentation goes to Sega Genesis.
Our music's completely different.
Yeah, which is really strange because they're both composed by Junji Kuma.
And the Super Nintendo had Tomoyuki Hamada.
But there is one track we both have, the battle theme. And the rest of my music is excellent.
The songs during your levels are nowhere near as good as mine.
Super Nintendo music is catchy. Super Nintendo music is fun.
Music on Sega is also fun.
Yeah, but there's some dull Sega tracks too.
There's nothing boring like that on Super Nintendo.
Okay, that's not my best song, but my song during the credits is much better than yours.
But you barely hear it in the game, and my boss battle's much better.
Well, I actually have 2 boss themes as opposed to your 1.
Well, it's still better than both of them.
Well, I have music for the final boss, and you don't.
Here's one of the tracks for the final boss on Sega. The Super Nintendo just reuses its boss theme.
You might have more, but you can't deny my tunes are better.
Oh, my music's still plenty catchy. Plus, we didn't talk about sound effects.
Listen to when you walk on Super Nintendo. It makes this high squeak noise. It's like Bomberman needs some WD-40 or something. The Sega game, on the other hand, spares you that noise.
What an annoying squeak.
Your sound effects are flawed too.
Listen when you plant a bomb on Super Nintendo. Sounds fine. Now, listen to Sega. All I hear is farts. Sounds like you're dropping a real bomb on Sega.
That doesn't sound like farts.
Oh yeah? Well, I heard this the other night and had to record it.
Eric, are you okay? You've been in the bathroom for hours.
Is Eric farting the rhythm to Seven Nation?
Don't ask about Eric!
Fine, but my sound is still better.
For not laying down farts, but more importantly having more memorable and exciting songs, best sound goes to Super Nintendo.
You have lots of similarities with gameplay.
Pretty typical Bomberman games.
Both games have you blowing stuff up. You can blow up enemies and obstacles. Most enemies can be taken out in one hit, but some require more. Both games have their own enemies. Be careful though, because you can blow yourself up. And both games have one-hit kills.
Each game has 6 levels, and each level is made up of several stages, and all levels end with a boss fight.
Both games have you start out with just one bomb. As you destroy objects, you get power-ups. Many of the power-ups are the same in both games, but there are some exclusives. Some power-ups last until you die. The rest of the power-ups last until you use a continue.
No need to worry about dying since both games have unlimited continues. There's even a password that's mercifully only 4 numbers.
Again, lots of similarities.
But there are differences, like how to beat each stage.
The objective of each stage is simple on the Super Nintendo. Beat all the enemies. Once you do, you can access the hidden exit and go to the next level. The exit only works when all enemies are defeated. Otherwise, you'll walk right over it. Be careful though, if a bomb goes off and hits the exit, another enemy pops up. So be sure not to let any bombs near it.
The objective of the stages on Sega is different. You don't have to destroy all the enemies. Instead, you have to destroy these keys. A stage can have anywhere between 2 and 4 keys. Once you destroy the keys, you'll either leave the area or collect a piece of the area's spirit picture.
Alright, now let's get into our exclusive power-ups.
Sure, because mine are better.
The Super Nintendo exclusively has a max exploder to increase the bombs to their maximum range, a super bomb that allows blasts to go beyond walls and enemies, a clock, which fills your time back up, a power glove, which allows you to throw bombs, a fire extinguisher, which gives you max lives and increases your score, and there's a mystery item which gives you a random power-up. There's also a skull, which can cause a number of unwanted effects, so stay away from them. And of course, power-ups for points.
Yeah, that's nice, but my power-ups are definitely better.
Sega Genesis game exclusively has a line bomb, which allows you to throw out a line of bombs all at once. A clock that doesn't give you more time, but it freezes enemies instead. Sandals, which can slow your movement and make you vulnerable. A I don't have a power up for points, but when I collect the spirit picture, any object I didn't destroy will turn into coins. Collect coins to raise your points and get a 1-up. And the best exclusive item, a Louie. A Louie is an animal that you can ride. And there are different types of Louies you can find too. A green Louie lets you ride at high speeds. Yellow Louie can kick soft blocks. Purple Louie can jump over soft blocks and even bombs. A blue Louie can kick bombs over walls and blocks. And a pink Louie, who dances. Regardless of which Louie you get, they're really useful in that they allow you to take an extra hit. And you can only get a Louie on Sega Genesis.
Louis are definitely the better exclusive power-up.
Dancing Louie. Really?
You're just jealous because my gameplay is more interesting than yours.
The gameplay of Super Nintendo is incredibly repetitive. You start in your grid, you destroy enemies, and then you do it again. The monotony, the repetition, the monotony, the repetition, the monotony, the repetition. You get my point. The Sega game is much more interesting. Like I said before, you're not just in a grid. Every stage is actually uniquely designed, and every level has a unique look. You're also collecting these spirit pictures. You just feel like you're making progress on the Sega game. On Super Nintendo, you feel like you're doing the same thing over and over and over. Plus, on Sega, you can revisit older levels. This is great if you need to power up really quick. Can't go back to older levels on Super Nintendo.
My game isn't all the same.
Level 5 is a one-on-one battle with different Bombermen. How's that for changing it up?
Okay, but it's still incredibly repetitive.
Both games have levels with multiple stages. Not including boss fights, the Super Nintendo game has 42 stages. That's 42 stages that are pretty much the same grid design. The Sega game doesn't have as many stages. There's never more than 4 per level. This is because some stages on Sega have multiple sections, and at least the Sega game isn't always just the same square grid.
Yeah, but your game is way harder.
Like I said before, both games have one-hit kills. When you die on Super Nintendo, you pretty much get to pick up where you left off. When you die on Sega, you have to start the stage over from the beginning. All the enemies are back, all the walls are restored, any key you blow up is no longer destroyed. That only happens on Super Nintendo when you use a continue. Talk about challenging. This is especially hard on boss fights. You die on Sega, you have to restart the fight. You have to be flawless to beat the boss on Sega. And the last boss has 3 phases. 3 phases in one shot. Super difficult. You die on Super Nintendo, you can keep chipping away at their life since you can die at least a few times.
Yeah, my game is challenging, but actually, that's kind of what makes it good.
The Sega game is challenging, but most of the time when you die, it's your fault, from being careless or being too hasty. But if you keep at it, learn techniques, you'll eventually start winning. You go from dying all the time to never getting touched. It's incredibly satisfying. I can't say the same thing about the Super Nintendo game. It's just too easy. Dying in continues don't really set you back too much, so you never really need to develop a technique. Just keep going and you'll eventually outlast your enemies. The only way you really lose in this game is if you decide to stop playing. Even if you die, you stay invincible for so long, it's like this game doesn't want you to lose. And yeah, my final boss is hard, but check out yours. In his final form, he doesn't attack you. He only throws out negative items. The only way you die is if you blow yourself up. Give me the Sega game's challenge over the boring, repetitive, and extremely easy Super Nintendo game any day.
All I'm hearing is that your game is hard.
Oh, I'm sorry, it's not incredibly easy and repetitive like your game.
At least my game doesn't have slowdown.
The Sega game has slowdown. You see this when there's too much happening on the screen. And the Super Nintendo game? No slowdown at all. Who needs blast processing?
Okay, my game does have slowdown, but that's because my game has a lot more going on.
Levels on Sega are more interactive. Things can halt your progress. There's steam valves, volcano fire, even penguins with rocket launchers. Batman Returns, anyone? Things can also aid you. There's gears that can launch you forward, a cool minecart, a barrel to flatten enemies. There's just so much happening in the Sega levels that yeah, you'll run into some slowdown. The Super Nintendo game doesn't have interactive levels.
Your levels are so boring compared to mine.
Well, I still have something you don't. 2-player co-op.
On Super Nintendo, you can play 2 players at the same time, at any time. On Sega, just one player, no co-op.
So you can share the same boring experience with a friend. And I do have multiplayer.
Oh, you mean the battle mode? I have that too.
Both games have a battle mode. You can go against a friend or 3. That's right, break out the multi-tap. You can have 4 people go against each other on both games. Or you can play the battle mode entirely against the computer.
Plus, I have features you don't.
On Super Nintendo, I have 12 stages to choose from, while Sega only has 10. I can also turn off players on the Super Nintendo, and I can increase the difficulty.
More levels? Raise difficulty? My game has real exclusive features.
The Sega game has an exclusive battle mode, Teams. You like co-op? How do you like them co-op? Team up with your friend and have 2-on-2 or 3-on-1 matches. Plus, here's the best part. There's different types of characters to choose from. Pick the combat style that suits your needs. Enjoy your one type of player and one mode on Super Nintendo.
Well, it's close, but my gameplay definitely has the edge.
For having better exclusive items, having better features in the battle mode, having interactive levels, and most importantly, being the more engaging game, best gameplay goes to Sega Genesis.
Both games are good, but one is better, and that game is Mega Bomberman for the Sega Genesis.
It may not be the prettiest game, but it does have more interesting looking levels. It has better presentation with more cutscenes and effort all around. It may not have the best music, but it does have some catchy tunes. And it has better gameplay, better exclusive items, better features in the battle mode, more interactive levels, and more engaging gameplay. The Super Nintendo game is fine. It's just incredibly repetitive and too easy. It feels more like a chore at times. The Sega game brings a nice level of challenge that makes it more fun and more satisfying to play. Best Bomberman goes to Sega Genesis.
No way! My game is totally better.
No, my game is definitely better.
There's only one way to settle this. Bomberman Battle!
Well, that would be great. Awesome. I will. Alright, bye.
You ready?
Ready as I'll ever be.
First guy to get blown up loses.
Alright, I did it! Man, that was easy. But I beat you.
I'm playing Super Nintendo rules! Multiple lives! Last time I checked, you only got one!
Oh, crap.
Well, this looks like the end.
We forgot one thing. What the hell is that?
Ah! But seriously, again?
Whew. Thanks to Pastrami. Looks like he forgot that the Sega battle mode can be played in teams. Oh, no problem. Now, I believe we had a deal. I brought the oil, but no pictures this time.
Thanks for checking out our latest video. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Support us on Patreon for early releases and bonus content. Special thanks to Jedi Knight Mark for the donation of the games. If you have a suggestion for future episodes, let us know in the comments and we will get to them. Also check us out on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram for more Console Wars goodness. Later!
This is how we do it. We take a swig of beer, and then we go.